So, are we ready? Okay. Now, a couple of things I want to say to you. At the moment, I'm working in US measurements. At the moment, I'm also got my SQ14, which is my 4-inch hoop up, because I'm hoping that this will fit into a 4-inch hoop. It may not, but let's see what happens. I'm starting on the premise that we're going to make a 4-inch coaster, and we're going to put this lace around the coaster. And the idea, I hope, is when I've got all these different elements put together, that we can more or less do it all in one go in the hoop. If I just show you for a moment, I previously to this lesson opened up a file of some floral pieces. These are actually I purchased from John Deere's embroidery legacy site. I will put a link to it underneath if you want to go and get the same, but any floral type embroidery set will do. I'm not teaching how to do the floral embroidery. This lesson is about lace making and making something for Mother's Day. We're going to start with the coaster, which is easiest, and move on to other elements that we would like to put on a table or give as a gift as a set to somebody for Mother's Day. Okay, so I started off by just drawing a 4-inch square. That's the outside line, and then I drew I then duplicated that and reduced it to a 3.75 inch square, so more or less quarter of an inch is there, so I know where I want to sew my lace if I decide to put it on the top. Two schools of thought at the moment, and I might try both and see which looks nicest. But anyway, that's what we're going to be working towards. So if I hit M on my keyboard, actually I'll do it twice, so you will get a measuring rule come up. So if you click in one spot and then stretch it along, you see, it's a little measuring rule for you. So that is 4 inches in length. Well, I know it's a 4-inch square, but that's 4 inches in length. But for those of you who may not realise that you have a measuring tool, hit M for measure, and you might have to hit it twice, depends on what you were using last, but you will get up a measuring tool, and then hit escape to get rid of it, and then hit escape twice. Okay, so Hatch has its own ruler for you to be able to use on the screen. I've got it at 100% on the zoom scale, so that is the finished size of what the coaster will be. Now, so that's just to show you where we're heading. Let's start. And where do we start? With the infamous 4-inch hoop. So on my screen, I am in US measurements here. Yeah. I am going to go over and take ordinary digitize, rectangle square. And the way the rectangle square starts is you click and drag diagonally, okay? Then click again. Now, I didn't set it to anything, so it's done it as a full square. I can then click on it on my resequence and say, no, we want outline, and it's on single run. That's fine. Now, click on it again on your resequence, and then come up here, and it'll show you what size I drew. I need to take the lock off and padlock it, so that I can give it independent dimensions. So I want it to be 4 inches, and I want the height to be 4 inches, right? Then I'll just click and put the lock back on. not that I intend to change the size, but that will keep it now as a perfect square. Okay. The next thing I want to do, while it's highlighted still in my sequence bar over here, I want to come down and I want to pick create layouts. Then I'm going to come down to auto center to work area, which is the grey bit with the ruler around it. Okay, and I'm going to, as you can see, before I hit enter, it's showing me, just in case I was going the wrong way, it's showing me the stitch line is where it originally was and the new black line is where it's going to go, and I'm going to hit enter and it jumps to where the black line is. So now, as you can see, my naught line are going on both directions right through the centre of the work. So that is now centralised to my work area. Okay, so I am now happy with that. So I'm going to go and save. This is just my outline for a moment, and I'm going to say, this one, I'm going to say linen coaster. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, as you can see down here, I'm hovering my thing across it. It's in pure cotton and fabric type. Well, I just discussed with you, I'm going to use linen. Now, I'm going to change the fabric type because Hatchett's clever enough to adjust its settings for whichever type of material you're using, whether it be wool felt or whether it be terry toweling or jersey, or as in this case linen. It will slightly adjust the way it treats the stitches depending on the fabric you've told it that you're using. So this is something quite important. So I'm going to go up to design settings and come down to auto fabric, and I am going to come down and say we are working in linen. Well, I am. You don't need to do this if you're working in cotton. And say OK. Now that's changed this down here to linen, and I'm just going to go in it, save again. I'm going over here to highlight that one. I'm going to right click and I am going to say duplicate, and as you can see it's now put one exactly the same underneath it, and there you can't see it, but there are now two on the screen. And while the second one is highlighted, I'm going to go and change the second one's colour to being blue. So I am creating a colour stop. This doesn't mean to say that you change the colour of your thread. This means that it will stop the machine. Now, why I've done it twice, so I've got to sew it twice. Why is that then? Okay, so once we're hooped up and we're under the embroidery needle, the first thing I wanted to do, so in the hoop now, all we've got is wash away stabiliser. So the first instruction to the machine is go and sew me that 4-inch hoop. It does that and stops because there's a colour change. That allows me then to take my bit of batting, if I'm using it, my bit of top fabric, yeah, and that line is already drawn now inside our hoop, so I know exactly what I'm covering with my fabric. So I just lay my fabric down over the top of that, giving myself plenty of room around the edges, lay it down over that already stitched square, go on to step 2, which just does that square again. So that pins down now our batting and our top fabric, or just our top fabric if we're not using batting, but that has pinned it down now in the place that we're going to work on it. So that's why we have duplicated that, and the colour means it stopped for you to do something before I go on and do the next bit. If it were all the same colour, it would do one and do the other without even stopping, okay? So the next stage with this mat is to get down the central embroidery design. So we need to go pick it. Now notice I said the word design. I had a conversation later on last week with a couple of people, and they seem to not really grasp the difference between artwork and design. So let me spell it out for you girls. A design is something that has already been digitized for you to use as is, or if it's a native file, meaning it's an EMB file, because we're using Hatch or Janome, then it'll be an EMB file. It's already stitched, so all the stitches will get imported and end up running down your sequence bar. Okay. Artwork is a picture. It could be a JPEG, a PNG, a TIFF, a GIF, you know, one of those things. But it is a flat picture, just a picture, which your machine can't possibly sew out because it's just a picture. And generally speaking, if you do bring in an artwork design, it will go to the top of your sequence bar because it's not the first thing your sewing machine is going to do, because it can't possibly sew it out, can it? So, just making that clear. So we're going to bring in a design, which means it's been stitched out. So I'm opening my design folder. I got loads of stuff here. I want to go, what's that dragon one I did? Oh, that's the one I did for Robert and oh, that was Valentine's last year. I did Rob and Stacey. What did I? Oh, hang on. Chester, Denise. Oh, where did I get it then? Come on. That's Weight Watchers I did. For my Weight Watchers bag. Oh yeah, that's Sweet Pea I bought. Oh, that was the one I did. Oh yeah. We did that one, didn't we? Oh, that's a bit of lace work I've done for a tray thing. Oh, come on, girls. Ah, here we are. Right, embroidery. What's this under then? Here we go. Here's my embroidery. My bees and my snowdrops. It's my snowdrop I'm after. Oh, and that's block 6. So, when did I do that one? In May last year. Oh. That's the one I want to use. Flower. Right, okay. Right, I've opened up my 6-inch block for Snowdrop that I made, as we said, in May last year. Let me just have a look. What I want to do, so let me just, I want to highlight, oh, that's the, yeah, that's all, yeah, it's all good, it's all grouped. Delete. Yay! So now, never mind about that. Why is that on? That's the oof. Let's take the oof off. Right. So now, here's me grass. Before I move it, I'm going to muck about with it. How many greens have I got? 2. That's good. And a grey and a white. That's good. Okay, the grassy bits. Yeah. Yeah. The grass. I am just going to highlight all my bits that are grass. Okay, before I move it, and I'm not saving it as this, and I'm going to look at the stitching and say, well, underlay. I don't want an awful lot of underlay. I'll have underlay 1 as a, if I go back 10,000 and take that underlay off, I've lost 1,000, haven't I? Full compensation. I'm going to whack that up. So about 20, right? Just on those pieces. on if connector, 79, 80. Oh, it doesn't really make any difference, does it? Right, okay, that's just on that bit. Now, having made those changes, I've just hit 0 to get it in the centre. Is there anything else I want to change? I mean, no, it's silver and white, silver and white, silver and white, and the greens. Okay, so now I'm going to Control A, which picks up everything. I'm coming up here, and I'm going to copy, go to my linen coaster, and it paste. There. Okay, so that will have pasted it, all the changes I just made, and I can get rid of my snow drop 6-inch block because I don't want to change that. No, I don't want to make any changes, but I got this now. Right. Okay, so I have dropped in, can you see, below those first two squares, all the elements that make up that snow drop picture for me. Alright? There are certain things I could change, certain things I don't want to change. But I did take out a little bit of the underlying, what's it? Now, what I want to do next, because I don't want it that huge to take up my, you might, but I don't want it that big to take up all the space in my coaster. I am now grouping everything that I just brought in, alright? And then with the handles, I can bring it down. Now, I'm doing this in small increments because that's probably enough, right? Because I don't want to tighten up. This was an EMB file that I made myself, so I know I can resize it, and the program will resize it, take out stitches and God knows what. If we looked at the last, when I had the full thing up, it was over 10,000 stitches. Now it's come down to 7,000 odd stitches because I've just reduced it in size. Again, you cannot do this with a pre-bought machine file. This is not a machine file. This has been a digitized file, a master file within this program. It is mine, so I can muck about with it as much as I like. Okay, so I think that's big enough for me. So I'm just going to stop the video there where I think about the next step. Alright, so I've just taken my own design and resized it slightly and I'm bringing it up nice and big so that I can see that some of my, I'm running all over the place here. Some of my work, in case I could see a problem where by reducing it I had made a mockery of it, if you like, but I don't think I have. So again, I'm going to hit 0, so it's now full screen, full impact on screen, which is still at 180 degrees now, 180%. If I bring it down, just hit 100%. This is true size, right? But so that's great. But I'm going to hit 0 and go back up to everything being within my sight so I can see it, right? Now, as I did slightly with the one I did with the rose on it, I am going to write a name on this. Now, yeah, I'm going to write a name on this. So I'm just going to, very simple, I'm just going to go to lettering and monogramming, and I am going to use lettering, which brings up my word editor. And this time, well, you know, if you're using Arch like I am, or Janome 5.5, in here you can write whatever you like. So this time I'm going to write Nan, yeah? Oh, Nana. Oh, that's me, innit? But I'm going to put Nan, yeah? I'm leaving it where it is for a minute because I don't really care. And I am going to go and look for an appropriate, while it's all highlighted, I can bring this down, and while I'm just laid over the top, I can use my down arrow, and can you see on screen my words? Oh, that was nice, wasn't it? Look, a floral nan. Oh, I quite like that. As Antique Rose. Oh, now I do like that. Let's go through a few more. But you see, you can make a difference and use whatever script you like. But do you know what? I go back up to Antique Rose. No, back to Antique Rose. Right. Ho ho. I'm going to say enter. Get rid of that, or exit, or do something with this. Over here, right? Then I'm going to highlight the word so I can move it, and I'm going to put this in that corner because actually I quite like the way that using that Antique Rose font, and I'm presuming that it comes with Arch because that's where I found it. I'm going to make it a bit bigger, so I'm highlighting it, holding down shift and just making it a bit bigger, and then I'm going to move it a little way away from the corners so I don't want to impede on anything else I'm going to do. Now at the moment the colour of that, because of my palette, I haven't got a lot of palette down here, have I think no, it's not even the same yellow, it's not even the same green as that, which is daft because I highlight it again, and I'm going to say it should be in two colours, but can you see that I've now got two colours that are practically the same? So what did I do? Undo, because I need to split it apart, because there are two colours already in this design, right? But I don't want that to be a different green from the green that I've already used within my own embroidery. So what I need to do now is to break apart. Now, having broke it apart once, so now I got 3 individual letters, I am now going to break it apart twice, alright? Now, on the right hand side, can you see that all the elements now are in their individual colours? Yay! 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 So the white bits to do with the rose and the green bits to do with the letters is all broken apart twice. Right, so this is when I would go from, on my sequence bar, from objects to colours. Right, now the colours will show me in which way they want to stitch out. So number 1 was the original colour that I picked, and number 4 is the colour, as you can see on this diagram, is the colour of the interlacing then I got silver bits, then I got white bits you can't see, then I got the green bits, and then I start with number 1 again. Now number 1 we're going to do in something that's going to match our background colour up here. Okay, that's just colour stops. So I want all these ends, okay, and I don't know, I'm going to hit Control, which means I can skip a few, right? So I can just pick up those 3 letters. If you hit Control, it doesn't highlight it all in one strip. It allows you to highlight any odd element that you like. So while I've got those elements highlighted, I'm going to bring them up to where I want them to be, and I'm going to lay them over the top of that number 4 green, right? Or I put them in front, which didn't help. I should have put them on top of, or I should have changed them, all those green elements in number 4. Now you can see that my nan and the highlights of my snowdrops are all one colour. I still got whites. I got whites and whites that need to be adjusted, probably. I don't know. Well, let me see. I got outside line, dark greens, light greens, I'll put them all together, silvers, and a white and a white. Now, I know that the other white that I just brought in, I'm going to put up over the top. So I got silver, white, and then that. Within doing that, it will do the white on the nan. Alright? Then I'm going to go back to objects. Okay, so I think I'm pretty good on all of that. I think that's pretty good. So now I know I've got colour recognition going on. Yay, until there. Then I'm going to do, which I needed to do before the white, is those colour elements, and it may as well go and stitch the nana at the same time. And then I am doing some silver work, and then I'm coming back to all the white work before the last, which is the dark green, which is the grass. So I'm only changing the dark green once. Everything else is, yeah. Now I'm happy, because obviously I need to do that after I've done the white. Yeah, so I've worked through. I need to work through, and I've worked through my sequencing. So I'm going to stop there for a moment. Now, having we got everything working out okay, I'm going to hold Shift on my keyboard and just highlight that nan. So it highlights, although they're in different places now because we've moved them by colour, but that does highlight all of that element, which are separated out to somewhat. And up here on my toolbar, you can see I got left. I know this is going to work. Oh, there we are. I can now change that 15 degrees to put it on a slightly bit of a slant, and while it's still all highlighted, I'm actually just going to bring it down a teeny bit. When it stops moving, I've clicked that loads of times. That'll do me. Right, okay. Fine. Saving my work right now. Yay. Right. So, because I know there is going to be some sort of added, this is why I've given myself a good 1/4 inch away from everything else. Okay. Now, we're going to go back now and highlight the second line, which was the blue one. Right click on it and duplicate it, which will shove it to the bottom. Right. Having picked up the duplicated one at the bottom, I now, I must say, just a moment, I clicked off everything and I went from US to metric, and now in metric, okay? As I want us to work forward in metric. Right, so now I'm going to go and highlight that duplicated square that we just made in blue, and I'm going to change it to be in purple. Alright. Oh, no, actually, I can keep it in blue because it's way away. I mean, the last thing we stitched out was the nan, right? So, although that, I have to say at this point, looking at it, the nan should be where are all the white elements? Let me just, excuse me a moment when I just click on a white element. Oh, it's all in one thing. Okay, I don't know why, but that's fine. It's all in one thing. So, yeah, that's another colour change then. Okay, right. So, back to what I was saying. I'm clicking on the last element that we put in, which was a duplication of the original 4-inch square. But, for this part, we need it bigger. okay, that a 4-inch square at this time is used to attach the backing fabric. So pretend we've just stitched out all in hand, yeah? Then I want you to take the hoop off the arm, turn it over and attach your backing square with painter's tape, nothing too tacky. Photographic tape, you know what I mean, scotch tape, that sort of thing. And you've attached now on the back of the hoop your square material that is much bigger than this hoop, okay? Then I am going to duplicate it again, so I get another square, still 4 inches at the moment, but this new square I want to set at 1/4 inch bigger. So I want to add on 5mm, so I want to make that 106 by 60 and hit enter. Now you can see this new hoop, which I'm going to change to red so that you can really see it, right? This is why a lot of my stuff, my output looks like very colourful, because it's colour stops, alright? So now I want that to be a blanket stitch line, so as it's highlighted on my sequence bar, I'm going to use a blanket stitch and I'm going to look at it. No, I don't mind 2.5mm away from each other, right? But with spacing, that's spacing, right? But I want them to come down a good teeny bit, and I want them to be only, let's see how it looks on screen first. I'm going to say normal 2, yeah? Now look, yeah. That's definitely going to come over the top of our thing, right? So I'm happy with that. I'm going to just save that again, all right? And I'm going to work this through with you now. So I'm going to go all the way back up to our resequencing, and I'm going to talk this through. When it was just wash away stabiliser, which was under the hoop, we did this 4-inch square, which showed us where we needed to put down our batting and our top cover. Or you may not use batting, but this is where you would, the machine has stopped before it goes to the blue, so this is where you put it down, float it on top. The next stage, the blue line, holds down those fabrics. Very nice. Now, the next part, all these squiggly digglies, all the way down to the end of the grass, yeah? That has done whatever you design you've imported to use on this Mother's Day coaster that we're making. It'll go on and do the wording I put up now. Okay, it's going to go on and do that. And the next thing it's going to do is a hoop size that we just made. Oh, right, let's keep that. So it's finished with the nan. The next thing you need to do is to take the hoop off the arm, turn it over, add fabric, whatever your backing fabric's going to be, sellotape it down, painter's tape, scotch tape, whatever you want to use, yeah? And then put it back on the hoop and it will do this 4-inch line again. Then you're going to take it back off the hoops, because now your backing material is attached to your front material, and you're going to use your applique scissors to cut back within 2mm of that stitch line, front and back. Front and back. Got me? Now we're going to put it back under the hoop, and the last stitch that we're going to do is a bigger stitch, which should be 106 all the way around. So that's brought that in, yeah? So when you're cutting this fabric down, I would say to you, like, don't try and cut it as close as you can. You've got a few millimetres to work with. That blanket stitch will encompass and stop from fraying and everything else. Now this is stage 1, so we're just preparing our work to start the lace work on. I hope I've made that clear. Alright, be back really soon.